Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and I'm coming at you after 2 weeks of straight up hell. I don't know how else to freaking put it. It took 2 weeks of hell for me to realize that we are not, in fact, doomed as much as it feels like we are doomed. I honestly put off making, this video for a long time because I was just like, bro, does any of this matter? Like, does YouTube matter? Does Instagram matter? Does anything that I'm doing here matter if we're screwed either way? And then it took me sitting with that to realize that that's exactly what these people who hate trans people, these people who hate literally anybody who is different, that's how they want us to feel, right? So let me not get ahead of myself. If you are new here, new as in not, subscribe. If you're watching the video, if you're hanging around, I would really appreciate it if you just subbed. I'm trying to get to 20K and you can help be a part of that, okay? When you feel anxious, when you try your best, but you don't succeed. No, but anyways, for real. I was feeling nothing I do matters because trans people are being wiped from existence. All this crazy shit, right? I'm not gonna try to shove it down your guys' throats. I'm sure that anybody who has a phone, anybody who has a TV understands the ludicrousy that is going on right now, right? I came up with essentially a checklist of things that I have to do to keep my fucking sanity about me, to keep functioning as a normal person. Now, I'm gonna kind of share with you guys what that has looked like, but I do wanna say this is coping with a situation that is freaking insane, okay? Yes, I know the term has been going around a lot recently. Hypernormalization, I believe is the term.
We're not going crazy. And I know it can feel that way because people are just going about their lives as normal as our country descends into full-face fascism. But you're not. What you're experiencing right now is something called hypernormalization. This is a term coined by Alexei Yurchak, an anthropology professor in Leningrad, who was writing about what it felt like to live through the fall of the Soviet Union. And I bet this will sound pretty familiar to you. What he said was that in the 80s, everyone from the top of Soviet society to the bottom knew that the system wasn't working. They knew that it was corrupt. They knew that the bosses were looting the system, and they knew that the politicians had no alternative vision, and that the politicians were also looting the system. And they knew that the bosses knew that they knew that. Everyone knew that this wasn't working. But because no one had an alternative vision for a different kind of society, they just kind of accepted all of this as normal. They literally hyper-normalize behavior and events that are not normal at all. And that's exactly what's happening right now. But let me be clear, none of what we're seeing right now is or should be normal.
We kind of just have to put our horse blinders on, act like nothing crazy is happening, when in all actuality, every single time I wake up, I know there's gonna be some crazy shit that is newsworthy, right? Something that is happening that actively impacts people in their actual physical, tangible lives. That fucking sucks. Like, there's no other way to get around it. It's a weird mental space to know that these things exist. People are actively being harmed. People are actually being displaced from their homes. People are actually having their care limited. All of these things are happening. With that being said, I'm about to lay out all the things that I'm doing to help keep myself sane, but none of that is negating the reality of what is going on right now, okay? It's just, we cannot crumble. We cannot become purely depressed and just isolate ourselves from the world and just not get out of bed. The people who fucking suck, who are imparting all these rules and trying to control our lives and trying to stomp us out from existence, that's literally exactly what they want, okay? I never really understood when people said joy is resistance until the past couple of months. I was always hearing these words and I'm like, what do you mean you have to fill your cup? What do you mean joy is resistance? But I truly understand it now. And feel free to, grab what applies to you. And if it doesn't apply to you, then no pressure. Everything is not going to work for everyone. But if you're watching this video, the likelihood of you needing to take a break, the likelihood of you needing to grab one or two of these things that I'm mentioning here is probably really high, because it's like a war on terror on our heads. Do not doom scroll. You'll find one account, you'll end up on a reel. This is how not being able to update my gender or my passport has impacted me. And then the next reel is AOC going off on somebody. The next reel is, can you believe that Trump said this? And it's just never ending. And before you know it, you'll look up and an hour has passed and you don't feel any better. You actually feel worse. So if you want to set locks for your Instagram, I'm pretty sure on the settings you can lock how much time you are going to be actively spending on that app. It makes total sense to do that. If you are going to set, screen time locks on your phone, if you have an iPhone, I know you can do this. That makes total sense as well. But just limit the amount of information that you're consuming at one period in time. It was never healthy to doom scroll. And I think now more than ever, it's probably the worst thing that you can do to stay sane. There's only so much information that is actionable. Yes, we know this thing is happening. Yes, we know that thing is happening. What can you do about it if you can't really act on it and all you're doing is consuming this negative information? You're just going to feel worse than you did before. A lot of people are speaking from their experiences. A lot of people are having anecdotal information and they're just explaining how much this sucks for us. We know that shit sucks. So I don't think that you actively consuming, other folks explaining how much shit sucks is doing anything for you, but doubling down on the suck. I have made it my goal to still support those creators because, they fucking deserve the support. But I've muted a couple of accounts that this sucks, that sucks. Can you imagine this is happening? Because I understand the information. I don't need more negativity to like enter my headspace essentially. I've been ultra careful with what I'm sharing because there's a lot of things going on, right? And part of what this administration is trying to impart on us is chaos, is anxiety, is everything's happening all at once. What can we do? We're fucking hopeless, right? You know, is it helpful for you to learn that Trump just said this thing? It's honestly not helpful unless it's a law that has been passed or unless it directly impacts you. This dude could wake up tomorrow and say, God knows what. So I think it's important to separate the bullshit from the actionable facts, stay updated, stay in the know, but also acknowledge that there's a point of diminishing return. I'm a person who strives in anxiety. Like I do very well when I feel like my back is up against the wall. Like I have so much shit to do. Like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. It's time to double down and go harder. And I was pretty much redlining myself over the past couple of weeks with putting out content. I did not have time to breathe. I was meeting up with homies. I'm doing XYZ. I'm spending time with my partner, right? And I literally did not have a second to breathe. It got to the point where my training is backtracking. I'm anxious as fuck. Like I cannot fall asleep. Like I've been waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and my body feels like it's 11, like it's time to grab lunch essentially. And I realized that that was a culmination of me not stopping and fucking resting for 2 seconds. Block off time in my day where nobody can reach me and I'm taking a bath and I'm watching Broad City. Always being on go mode is going to burn you out and you're useless when you're burnt out. Your capacity to process information is going to be so limited that you'll be useless to yourself as well. The mental aspect is part of that warfare, right? When we're thinking about how marginalized groups are beaten to submission, it's feeling hopeless. It's feeling like nobody supports them. And that's not true. We have a lot of people who support us, right? I don't love politicians, period, but we have people like Jasmine Crockett. We have people like AOC.
That somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or not.
Do not call me a child. I am no child. Don't even start.
Trans medical students. We have trans doctors who are fighting for us. We have, cis het allies that are fighting for us. So to say fuck everybody, we're all screwed is counterproductive. It's not going to get anywhere. We need to be reaching out. We need to be literally engaging with community to understand how we can fight back. Damn, bro, we're screwed. Everything sucks. That's pretty much like laying your sword down to the enemy and being like, you know what? I'm tapped out, bro. You got it. I woke up today, I'm gonna put a fucking smile on my face. I'm gonna train hard, check in with my clients, make sure that everybody's feeling okay. I'm gonna film a fucking video and I'm gonna be Devin, and whatever new shit comes down the pipe, I'm gonna manage that. I'm gonna talk to people about it and we're gonna keep pushing. There's no other way around it. If you guys have done anything during this time that has helped you feel better, it could help me, so please drop it in the comments. There's so much negativity and all of it is valid, but also please don't corner yourself off into thinking that there's no fucking hope, because then they literally will have won. That is the video, y'all. Like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's a Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.